So, hello and welcome to our breathing space meditation for today, the 15th of March. And over the last few weeks, we've been exploring the different attitudes of mindfulness, like things like acceptance, letting go, patience. Today, a little bit on curiosity. So, there's no PowerPoint or slideshow today, just simply an invitation to cultivate an attitude of curiosity towards our practice today. Sometimes we come into meditation with an expectation, or we're hoping to achieve a certain state of being. Maybe this will relax me or make me feel better, whatever. And the invitation is, along with the other attitudes we've been practicing, like acceptance of things as they are, and patience, just allowing things to unfold in their own way, and letting go of expectation, letting go of striving. This gives us space so we can walk into that space with curiosity. Curiosity is like beginner's mind, seeing our experience like a child for the first time and just exploring what we find as we go through our meditation process. Um, and accepting that the flow of life can sometimes feel pleasant or unpleasant, can sometimes be quite agitated in its energy, or indeed very, very tired. So we just meet that with curiosity, explore how it feels. We could explore how it feels in the body, looking for different parts of the body where that energy is held or processed, maybe through things like temperature, heartbeat, muscle tension. We might feel it in the emotions, and very often that is connected to the physical sensations we feel. We can also be curious about what sort of thoughts arise around what we meet in our meditation, whether what we meet is boredom, restlessness, zen, just noticing the thinking that comes up around that and being open to accept, um, to observe, to be curious about that. So that's the general approach for today. So I would invite you to find yourself a posture that suits you for today's practice. We can practice lying down. We can practice sitting, or you could even be walking around the house. So our curiosity really begins with that question: what posture will support your practice today? It might be that you settle into a posture. I'm sitting in this chair right now, and in 5 minutes' time, you might go, oh, you know what? I really wish I'd chosen to lie down. Then you can quite mindfully get up, go find somewhere to lie down, and just bring the curiosity into noticing the difference in your body and in your practice as you change your posture. So let's see now if we can open a deliberate and intentional space for our mindfulness practice. And we do this, first of all, through a tuning in, an intentional turning of the awareness inwards, feeling all those places where the body is connected to the bed, the chair, the cushion. Inviting a curiosity into those sensations. Just exploring how the weight of the body is distributed today, how it's received, by the surface beneath you, and maybe also how the body is working to maintain its posture, lying or sitting down. Tuning our attention into the body is also a nice way to feel that transition from the doing of the busy world, from the planning and the thinking, and if possible, just letting go of words, coming underneath the thoughts into exploring, being curious about the physical sensations of just being in your posture and being connected to the surface that is holding you. As we settle into awareness of the body, sitting or lying, perhaps also becoming aware of the movement of breathing and meeting that with curiosity as well, an open mind. Every new breath is a new beginning, so we can sense how and where the movement of in-breath and out-breath is felt in the body right now. As we settle into following that movement of in-breath and out-breath, also inviting a letting go, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, letting go of efforting. Any striving that we notice is probably perfectly normal, Every human being on the planet is driven all day by this energy to get things done, to achieve, to be doing something. So if we notice that energy, we could be curious how it feels in the body, how it comes alive in the thoughts, restless thinking pulling us away from the breathing, a restless energy in the body feels a bit strange to be sitting still. We can be curious how this feels. Just rest on the movement of the breathing. In breath, out breath. And curious to feeling the body, the mind, as they bring the legacy of the doing world into this space of deliberate having nothing to do. As we settle a little bit deeper into stillness, maybe being curious about the little subtle details of the breathing today, whether we feel it more present in belly or chest, mouth or nose, whether we feel movement of the breathing perhaps in the ribs, the arms, the shoulders, back. Perhaps noticing subtle differences in the in breath, the movement of the diaphragm, the expansion of the chest. The out breath, that relaxing and letting go. The little space between in breath and out breath. Maybe a sense of coming home, coming into mindful awareness, stillness, and a space around our experience. Coming home to body, coming home to breath. And the longer we sit to do nothing, deliberately doing nothing, intentionally having no action required, we begin to notice the busy mind, the habits of thinking, the habit of always looking for something to do, of monitoring the world around us and saying, oh, I've got to fix that, I've got to adjust this, I've got to interfere with what's going on, interact, practicing the letting go, the noticing of those thoughts and impulses, but letting go of action and instead replacing it with curiosity. How does it feel? when I have that impulse? What's actually happening when I notice that thing and feel like I've got to act in some way? And what's it like just to observe those thoughts and feelings rise and fade in their own way without actually doing anything, just observing? We might hear sounds in the room around us, or in the world beyond that. Again, just being curious, what's it like to simply allow those sounds to flow, to rise, to fade, and we just observe, notice, allow the flow, let go of action, be patient, just allow things to unfold in their own way, and then curious, just play a game like a child listening to sound for the first time, just noticing all the different details, subtleties of the sounds. perhaps being curious if we can run the curiosity, the attention, the awareness in different layers. The grounded layer that feels the body supported and held by the bed or the chair, that is aware of the body sitting, breathing, the muscles, the bones, the heartbeat. And then maintaining this awareness of the body and the breathing, a second layer that is aware of the sounds around us, flowing, arising, fading. And then another layer of thinking, being aware of the flow of thoughts that arise and fade, planning, memories, fantasies, scenarios, judgments, questions. And if possible, just sitting in the center of all of this, aware of body, of breath, of sounds and thoughts, the flow of our lived experience. And of course, as human beings, we always have this feeling tone, awareness of how we feel about the things that we are experiencing. A sense of liking or disliking, a sense of boredom, perhaps, a sense of wanting things to be a certain way, judging them always, good or bad, right or wrong. Again, just noticing today, being curious about how these feelings, these judgments, they rise and they fade. One minute we're in a sound, the next we're in a thought, the next we're in a judgment. And for the rest of our practice, which is going to be a good 20 minutes or so, continuing our practice in something that's called choiceless awareness, sometimes called mind like open sky, where we simply rest in awareness, in curiosity, and notice where our attention is pulled in the body to a certain sensation, temperature, attention, to the breathing, the in-breath, the out-breath, to a sound, to a thought, to a feeling. And we just sit here and go, oh yeah, look, there's a sensation, there's a thought, there's a sound. And we're curious to observe the flow of awareness, where our attention goes like a butterfly from one thing to another, resting here, resting there, momentarily. We get these little snippets of sensation, of thought, of judgment, of liking, of disliking. Just seeing if we can allow that flow, let go of expectation, and be curious like a child, just exploring what happens when we sit here taking no action, doing nothing, following the flow of awareness. letting go of any expectation of what a meditation should be like, and just allowing the attention to rest in this flow of experience, moment by moment, paying attention on purpose in the present moment, knowing our experience as we live it, the restless mind, the lived body, the breathing body, the body with temperature, with muscle tension, with pulse, with tingling, sensations in the gut, in the head, sounds in the world around us, thoughts that come and go, feelings, emotions, reactions, judgments, falling asleep, waking up, feeling restless, feeling tired, and always just holding this all with curiosity, just living this question that has no real answer. It's just a flow, this endless question: what happens? What do I notice as I just sit here in choiceless awareness? I don't know if any of you have ever sat with a dog like you're doing right now in meditation, and your dog wants your attention, and the dog keeps trying to nuzzle you with its nose or put a paw on your leg or maybe make a little noise, and you just sit here doing nothing, but you're observing, you're feeling, and you're aware of everything that's happening. And the dog goes, "Oh, that's not working." And then your curiosity is like this game as you notice the dog maybe tries the other leg, dog tries your knee, your foot. You do nothing. You just rest in stillness, awareness, because there's nothing that we have to do right now. There's no action required. Eventually, the dog just stops. It realizes that it's not going to get your attention right now. Notice what happens next. It might go wander the house and come back again and try again. But eventually, it'll just lie down. It'll relax and rest, settle. And the same thing is true of our restless energy. When we settle to meditation, our restless energy will try everything to get us to act, to move, to react, to do something. If we just notice, there's my attention, there's that impulse, there's that distraction, there's that thought, but we do nothing, eventually the energy settles and we just live the flow of experience moment by moment, in breath, out breath, physical sensations, thoughts and feelings. And we have this space just to observe, to feel, to live in awareness. And by doing this practice of choiceless awareness, we cultivate the capacity of patience, of allowing things to unfold without having to take action. Patience to just let things be, to let go of the impulse to act. This opens a space for mindful presence, intentional awareness, allowing the flow of experience and even allowing ourselves to like or not like what we witness, what we notice. If we invite curiosity to what we find, whether it be a judgment, a like, a dislike, pleasant, unpleasant, just a curiosity, what does it feel like? What happens next? Where does the mind go? What happens in the body? All of life becomes this flow of mindful presence, equanimity. We notice that things rise, things fade, things come into the mind and they go away. Sensations arise in the body and they fade. Sounds in the room come and go. Feelings, emotions are also transient. And we find the stillness at the center of it all, a space for perspective, for just knowing ourselves in the moment, connecting to the authentic experience that we're living. And perhaps connecting to the wise self that is inside of us all. So I invite you as you go through the rest of your week, let's make the week ahead Curiosity Week. How can we play with our curiosity, its childlike wonder, seeing the world with new eyes, beginner's mind, just living that question, the one that has no answers, just allows us to explore moment by moment the magic flow of experience. For now, we're going to bring our formal practice to an end. So very, very gently, maybe just wiggling toes or fingers, gently opening your eyes, taking in the room around you. Maybe you might feel the need to stretch or to yawn after sitting for an hour. I'm going to end the recording right here. And that gives us all an opportunity to just share today's practice. If you're watching this back again on a video on YouTube, perhaps now a nice opportunity to maybe take up a journal, do a little bit of reflecting on your meditation experience.